Greetings and welcome, my friends. This is Man on Fire, a Mardu deck that brings the pain thanks to men that generate tokens. We use Pump to make our men bigger, and some cards that hit the opponent for damages when our men enter play. We are light on removal, but we usually get in for damages hard and fast. We've also brought along a way to get our men back from the grave, and we can keep hitting turn after turn. One thing we do want to note, since this is a 3-color deck, we have leaned heavily into a mana base that is effective at letting us play out our 3-color cards. We're playing a pair of shock lands that enable our verges. This does make for a rather pricey deck if you don't have most of the lands already. It is our lands that make this deck work. Let's get in there. We're playing the full set of Case of the Uneaten Feast, a 1-mana enchantment that gains us a life every time one of our men enters play. Some of our men generate tokens, which makes this a great way to gain life. As a bonus, we can sacrifice the case once we've solved it to be able to play any men in our grave. It's a great way to get back our fallen for another go. Voice of Victory is a powerful 2-drop that will generate a pair of 1/1 attackers when it swings in. As a bonus, the voice also prevents opponents from firing off cards. This stops removals from hitting our men during critical attack phases, and it prevents the opponent from hitting our cards with counterspells. Caretaker's talent is a strong enchantment that gives us an extra draw, and when we level it up all the way, it gives our token men a powerful boost. When we level it up to level 2, we get to copy a token. This helps us build up our team and give us critical numbers. Warleader's Call is a great enchantment. It gives a boost to all our men, and it hits the opponent for 1 every time we have one of our men enter play. With some of our men generating additional tokens when they swing in, the damages could add up quickly. Thunder of Unity is a bit of card draw. When we play it out, we will lose 2 life and draw a pair of cards. During the following 2 turns, we'll drain the opponent for 1 every time we have one of our men enter play. With the Drain ability, we hope to recover more life than we lost in drawing a pair of cards. Zurgo, Thunder's Decree has mobilized 2, so he'll generate a pair of 1/1 attackers when we send him in. But he also has a special ability that prevents the mobilized tokens from being sacrificed. In combination with a Voice of Victory, we can end up with a token army in a matter of turns. Elegy Acolyte is a 4-drop that gives us, you guessed it, a token whenever a non-land permanent left the board during our turn. In this case, though, we get a 2/2 token instead of a 1/1. And whenever we hit the opponent for damages, the Acolyte also draws us a card at the cost of 1 life. Luckily, it also has lifelink to help recover some of the life we lose. Mardu Siegebreaker is our big pounder. While he may not be the biggest thing on board, it does have Death Touch, which will let him trade with any blocker. When the breaker enters, we get to exile one of our men, and then get a token copy of it when the breaker swings in. Although we do have to sacrifice the token at the end of the turn, it's an additional attacker that could bring even more pain to bear on the opponent. And don't forget, the breaker has haste, so it'll hit the ground running. Exalted Sunborn will double the amount of tokens we generate. Its stats are amazing. A flyer with lifelink that can block and attack well, plus it doubles our token army. Getting one in play is great, so is getting one under the Siegebreaker. Odin is here to make things hilarious. He destroys an enemy when he enters, but if we get an Odin under a Siegebreaker, it's removal and damages every turn until it's stopped. And even if they snipe the breaker, we get Odin back. What's great is we can even use the Caretaker's talent to make a copy of the token Odin. And if we have a Sunborn on board, that's double the Odins. Pure comedy. The Black Virtue is a removal early that gains us a pair of life as well. And later in the game, we can play it out for its full price and start getting men from the grave, both ours and the opponent's. While our men might have been fun the first time around, it'll be even more when they get a second chance to do it all over again. For lands, we're playing 4 Sunbillow Verge, the plains that becomes a Boros dual when we have a mountain or plains in play. 4 Sacred Foundry, the Boros shock land. 4 Blazemire Verge, the swamp that becomes a Rakdos dual when we have a swamp or mountain in play. 4 Godless Shrine, the Orzhov shock land. 4 Bleachbone Verge, the swamp that becomes an Orzhov dual when we have a plains or swamp in play. 1 Swamp, 1 Plains, and 2 Dalkovan Encampment, the special land that we can activate to generate a pair of 1/1 attacking tokens when we swing in. Of all our lands, this one is the one that has a chance of entering tapped. Otherwise, our lands can enter untapped for mana right away if we have something we want to play out. Playing the deck is fairly simple. Load the board with our early men, then follow up with support cards that boost our men or draw cards. We have a limited amount of removals, so be careful when playing out the Virtue as a removal. In the mid-game, save any Siegebreakers until there's an excellent target on board, and always press for damages. The combination of Warleader's Call and Thunder of Unity can be a powerful punch to the opponent's face when we're able to generate multiple tokens. We have enough life gain to offset some of the self-damage we inflict on ourselves, so Shock Lands and Thunder of Unity shouldn't be a problem when they hit us for a pair. Odin can be a finisher if the opponent is unable to provide a blocker for the big guy. That's the deck, boys. Let's go play some games.
Do you want to play a game?
This is Avenue Nut Trees. I'm not sure I want to go down this avenue. We get a Boros 3-lander. We do have plays on our first 2 turns, but we'll need black mana to be able to play out the double thunder. We'll give it a shot. Keep your pants on. We can play out a Verge and use it to play out our case. Whenever you can avoid hitting yourself, do so. They chart a course straight to their doom. Thanks for tapping out, bro. We can land our Voice of Victory, and that will make sure they can't counter any of our cards unless they snipe it first. We draw a Warleader's Call, which will make an excellent turn 3 play. For now, we'll play out the Voice. She's warming up, bro. They play out a Dreadwing Scavenger. It gives them a loot, but for the moment it's only a 2/2 buzzard. It would be a good blocker were it not for the call we have in hand. We draw a Verge, but let's not give away our 3-color insanity just yet. We'll make them feel it later. The Warleader's Call will give our team a boost. Sure, we have only 1 guy now, but that's about to change. We get a pair of attacking tokens, and with the call damage, that will be an 8 spot if they don't block. They do block up and spare themselves a pair. They fire off an inspiration from beyond, and beyond is where we want to send them. It's Zurgo's turn to come on down. He'll prevent our tokens from being sacrificed at the end of our turn. Let's get in there. Damages will be piling up for our poor opponent, who has been mostly busy with card draw. Without warning, they poop it and scoop it. GG's, bro. Extra cheese. This is Jesus. If you beat him too badly, you're not getting into heaven. We get a slow 3-lander this time. We do have an early removal, and we'll need to draw at least 1 land that can activate our Verges. Keep your pants on. We draw a Shrine, and that will do the trick. Being a shock land, we'll play it out first. They play out a Carrot Cake. They'll get a rabbit token and can sacrifice their cake on a later turn for another. We draw a Warleader's Call, and although we have a removal, we're not going to use it to snipe a token. Try to save what removals we do have for something more threatening. They play out a Caretaker's Talent, and thanks to them going first, they've got a slight edge on us. We draw an Encampment, and thanks to the Shrine, it will enter untapped when we play it out. For this turn, we'll go with Zurgo. He can do a decent job of blocking, and we'll be able to swing in for damages on our next turn. They sacrifice their Carrot Cake. Not only do they get another rabbit token, but that's a scry and some life gain as well. And don't forget about the card draw thanks to the talent. They snipe Zurgo, but they use a removal that gives us a token. We can actually make use of that token. We could go with the call, but the talent is probably better for this turn. We can copy the token they gave us for card draw. Let's send it. At best, we eat one of their rabbits in a stew. At worst, we trade and wipe out their tokens. They block with a token. It's hard to believe they feel they can't take 2 damage. They play out a Beza. It's a big beefy cow that can run the table for now. And it'll give them a card draw since we're busy being landlords. We draw a second Warleader's call, and we'll play one out. This will pump our tokens and leave us mana to snipe their Beza if they block. They probably suspect something is up. Why would we send smaller men against their giant cow? We're crazy, bro. We want opponent flesh and we want it now. They take the hits. Damages, bro. Damages. We were going to save the virtue for a better target, but let's snipe their token to prevent a crack back for 5 or more. They drop in a white overlord with impending. They'll get a pair of 2/1 flyers and have both the ground and air clogged up. They're afraid to send Beza. That's a bunch of pain we're not taking. We draw a case and we'll play it out. Sure, we're not dropping men this turn, but once we do, we can regain any life we lose to their attacks. Then we'll follow up with the talent pump, which gets our tokens pumped up to 5/5 beasts. Thanks to the removal they used, we can attack for 10. They block up, and it costs them their Beza. Probably should have blocked last turn. Thanks for the tokens, bro. They fire off a board wipe to clear out the tokens they gave us. Simply astounding. We have to pay the 2 life since we want to get the virtue down this turn. We'll be able to get Zurgo back and their cow if we want. They drop in another carrot cake. I'm getting a sweet tooth. And I'm looking forward to more rabbit stew. We're gonna pass on getting their Beza. Let's get our Zurgo. We draw a Sunborn, which will let us go nuts. We'll warp it in, and since that's only 2 mana, we have enough left over to play out our Breaker. We'll scoop up the Sunborn, and when we send in the Breaker, we'll get a token Sunborn that's attacking also. That's going to be 12 damages out of the blue, 7 of which is flying. You might want to block, bro. This is some real pain coming in. They've got to think about how they're going to get out of this one. That's another Beza coming in. It's some life and a treasure, but that's it. Jesus is having a devil of a time over there. Breathe, bro. Turn some water into wine and go to town. They finally get their white overlord online. It's big and beefy. We'll play out the second call for the team pump and 2 damage when we have men enter play on our side. We could go with the second breaker here, but we have nothing good to go under it. We don't want to pick Beza since that is theirs. Let's just go with the Acolyte. That'll get them down within range of our attack. They can block the breaker, but they've got nothing for the Sunborn. It's GG's, extra cheese, and we are not going to heaven after this game. This is TK, born in 1793. He's so old, he's a walking fossil. Don't carbon date me, bro. We get another 3-lander. This one has a good start with turn 1 and 2 plays for us. We'll want one of our 3 drops to show up sooner rather than later. Keep. We draw an Acolyte, but that's not a play until later. We get a Thunder of Unity, which we can play out next turn for some card draw. This turn will be about the Voice of Victory. They play out a Sephiroth, kind of weird that he's their first play. Usually there's a crowd of 1/1 men waiting for his arrival, but that's all they've got. We're playing our second Shockland this turn, and we need it untapped to be able to drop in the Thunder we just drew. And of course, playing it out hits us for another 2. With any luck, we'll be able to stop the bleeding soon. They play out a removal, and our voice will go to an early grave. That's unfortunate, and we're in for more damages when they send it. We don't have enough black for the Acolyte, and playing the breaker isn't that great on an empty board. The talent would be fine, but we've got not tokens coming anytime soon. I think it has to be the second Thunder of Unity. It's another pair of damages, but we'll get a fresh pair of cards. They play out a Salvagers, but they've got no men they can easily sacrifice. Did they get mostly removals? That's another 3 damages, and we go down to 6. We need to tighten the belt. The second case will be more life, and then we can follow up with Zurgo. That will get us back up to 10. Decisions don't come easy for TK. It's hard being old. They send it in, it's a risk, but we have to throw a block to stop some of the damages. We draw another Shockland, and to make the play we want, we need to get it untapped. It's pain, but we're about to deliver some pain of our own. First up, we'll warp in the Sunborn. We still have mana left for the breaker, and we'll play it out. We're not about to worry about blocking from here on out. Let's send it. We'll get a token Sunborn and a pair of 1 tokens. That's another 3 men entering play, which is another drain for 3, plus the damages should make a solid hit this turn. The triggers are a touch too much, maybe? They give it up. GG's, extra cheese. This is Annie Ken Skywalker, future Vader. Don't invader me, bro. We get yet another 3-lander with a solid curve out through our first 3 turns. I like it. Keep. We gotta take the pain if we want to curve out. It's fine, we'll regain life when we drop in our men. They play out a Wandering Minstrel, some funny stuff might be up, but they're in Simic colors so it can't be too crazy. We draw a 4th land, which means we'll be able to Acolyte it up in here when we get to 4 mana. It's time for our voice to get in there. The impending out a green Overlord, a ramping, they will go. If we keep drawing lands, we will easily win. Let's drop in our Thunder and get a fresh pair. That gets us another voice and a breaker. We'll be able to smash and on schedule. They fire off the adventure part of a Dread Knight and draw a card. The pain might be worth the card, but there's only so much pain they can afford. They double up on green Overlords with Impending. They could be a problem once they turn into men. We draw an Odin, which is going to go down well once we have the mana to play him out. This turn is time for an Acolyte to get in there. We draw another land, which will ensure we have enough to drop in Odin on schedule. They snipe our Acolyte. It's a good move, but maybe they should have aimed that at the voice. Oh, I see, they have another removal. We draw a Zurgo, which goes fine with a Voice of Victory. It's a great way to build an army. Let's play out the voice and follow up with Zurgo. What on earth? That's an Omen Path. I haven't seen that since the early days of Outlaws. You do you, bro. We're going with Odin this turn. We can use it to snipe their Overlord, then we can get in there for damages. Sure, they can block up and take down one of our guys, but the damages will be worth it. They take down Zurgo, but they go down to only 3 life in order to do so. They draw with the Dread Knight, which gets them down to 2. They're going to need a lot of blockers. Instead, they go with a submarine. It's a giant metal log. Get it? Do we need this untapped? It looks like we have enough for the second voice in the breaker without having to pay 2 life. The breaker will exile Odin, and when we send it, we can use the token Odin to snipe their green overlord. They won't have enough blockers to stay alive. That's GG's, extra cheese. And that, my friends, is another satisfied customer.